For this project, you're going to need a sheet of blank paper. You're going to need your patterns or solid colors of paper that you created in part 1 of this project, a pair of scissors, and some glue and or tape if you want to use tape. But you only need something to glue things down or tape them down, one or the two. For this project, we're going to be creating something called a collage. A collage is an art technique where you use materials or papers from magazines and newspapers to create a new piece of art. So we're going to be using the paper that we created in part 1 of this project as the collage paper for this project. The element of art we're going to be concentrating on this project is called texture. Texture is the way something feels or the way something looks like it would feel if you were to touch it. So by using the different materials in part 1 of this project, you should be able to get some new textures throughout this project. So you're going to grab your sheets of paper from part 1, and you should have split it into 4 different sections. So the first part of this project, you're simply just going to cut them into individual pieces if you haven't done so already. Once you finish cutting your collage pieces of paper, just set them aside. Now I want to show you some examples of some collage work from some famous artists, such as French-born artist Henri Matisse, African-American artist Romare Bearden, and a contemporary Mexican artist named Gabriel Curie. I want you to take a look at these examples so you can see how varying collage artists can be. So for this project, you're going to be using the papers that you made in step 1 to make your own collage. And I wanted you to see the examples because this project, you can use this collage paper to make any type of art you want to, in any style you want to, as long as it's a collage. So I'm just going to be talking about some tips that you can have during this video. If you find that you need more paper, you can always make more collage paper of your own as you go along and just cut them out so you have them at hand. But the reason why I wanted to have a variety was so you have a variety of textures, because each material has a different feel to it, or it has a different look, a visual texture to it. So you can see that I've used a variety of materials like pencil, marker and color pencils, marker with crayon. I use some watercolor paint. So I just made some with patterns also, and I just colored some in more solidly, or I made some of them really rough looking to create different visual textures. So I have a variety of collage papers to use for this project. Now, if you want to do something more abstract, that means that it doesn't look like a recognizable image. That's completely fine. So if you want to make shapes out of these, you can just do that. You can just cut it out directly from the paper if you wanted to. And just place them on your white sheet of paper, your blank white sheet of paper. You want to make something more abstract, like the example of the Henri Matisse artwork I showed you. And notice I'm not gluing anything down right now. You want to have these shapes, if you're going to do something more abstract, just cut out and not glued down so you can rearrange them in any way that you want to later. This is just one way you can create your collage. Another way you can do collage is in the style of Romare Bearden. If you like to make more representational art, that means that the things that you're creating represent something real. Like if you wanted to make people, for instance, maybe you could take one of your pieces and on the back, I would flip each piece on the back and draw what you want to make. For instance, if I wanted to make a shirt, I could just draw a shirt really quickly and I would cut it out. And the reason why I'm drawing it on the back is so when I cut it out, I won't see the lines on the front side. So you can also make representational art in the style of Romare Bearden where you're taking a collage paper and actually making items that look like things that people would recognize. For instance, I can make that a shirt. If I wanted to make a head, just draw a circle or something. And notice I'm drawing it again on the back. And notice I'm also not using realistic colors. You can use any colors you want to. So even if you're making something representational, it doesn't mean that everything has to be realistic. I can use any colors I like if I want to make that my head. I want to give some interesting pants maybe. I can use one of my pattern sheets. Go to the back and just kind of put it against what I've already cut out, just so I know how wide I want to make my pieces. So when I cut it out, it will be the size that will fit directly to the body that I already made. And notice I'm continuing to draw everything on the back so I don't see the lines when I glue it down. Unless you want to see the lines, you can also do it. If you like seeing the lines, that's fine. So you can see you can also make representational art this way. And then I can add hands and I can add feet to it also. Okay, but notice that I'm just cutting everything out for this step. So you will continue just making more objects from the collage paper you have and create a picture. And do not glue anything down, because you're gonna be layering these things down and rearranging them throughout this process. So for this step of the project, I just simply want you to cut things out and arrange them on your paper. And then if you do like it, you can start gluing it out, gluing things down afterwards. But for this step, just cut things out and arrange them on your paper before you start gluing things down. So I'm just gonna do that right now. I'm gonna add some scenery to my composition. So I'm gonna go around the paper and try to fill things in. And on a collage, everything doesn't have to be cut and glued down. You can tape things down, and you'll see that I can also draw things on here and color things on in addition to cutting and gluing things down. Okay, so I want you to use your imagination for this project, have fun, and just explore different patterns and different ways to glue and tape down your composition. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that for the rest of this project. Okay, so you want to work on this project for about 30 minutes and just get whatever you can put together at this point. Remember, don't glue anything down. You'll continue to work on this project the next step, and that's when you'll start adding more collage elements to your composition, to your paper, and you can color more to it, and then you can start gluing things down if you need to. But for this next step, just take it easy. Just begin placing down your composition by cutting out your collage papers and placing them in various locations. Remember, when you glue it down, it's going to be permanently there. So you want to play around with things and make sure you want them there before you start gluing anything down. Okay, so just pay attention and stop right here at this step and put it away somewhere so it's safe, so you can have it for the next step.